Life is precious, and we all have the opportunity of living it to the fullest. Unfortunately, so few of us know how to manage it all. How do we account for our opportunities? How do we account for our time? How do we account for our relationships, health, spirituality, homes, finances, influence, and careers? How do we account for the one life we have to live? I am so glad you asked. In this program, you will find answers to all of these questions and more. Welcome to the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore.
Hey, good morning. I want to welcome you back to another episode of the Account for Your Life podcast. And today we're talking about something that I think is near and dear to my heart, and it's change. It's time for a change. And now before I kind of get into all the nuances, really what I'm talking about, I got to do something very special. I want to wish my son, Jacob, happy birthday, 17 today, 4/4/2023. He's 17 years old today, just a phenomenal young man. He's a phenomenal person. He's growing to be one of the most amazing people that I've ever met. Just happened to be my son. But yeah, man, happy birthday to Jacob. And I'm just so honored to have a son, like him. Honored to have a son like Jared, my son, who just turned 20 about 10 days ago. So today, the message, the idea behind what wow. I didn't know it's going to get emotional. The idea behind what it is that I'm going to be sharing today is the idea that the Lord placed in my heart from the beginning. I didn't know it. I didn't understand it. I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't even privy to the idea of it. But God placed something in my heart that only I could recognize when I started to see it. And there's so many stories that I could tell about myself, about the journey, but I'd like to ask a question of you. Because that's how we're going. That's why it's time for a change. You have to answer questions just like I do. So let's use this question today. If someone showed up to your house and they said they wanted your kids, they want everything in your house, and they want it now. And if you don't give it up, they're just going to take it from you. What would you do? Now, here's what many of us would do. We would say, I ain't giving you nothing. Now you may give up the stuff. Now here's the thing. We would give up our stuff. Yes, we'd give up the stuff. I ain't giving you my kids. I'm not giving you my kids. We would die before we give up our kids. You would say over my dead body, and they would have to make you dead. That's how I feel. This is my son's birthday, so I know over my dead body, I'm going to fight you. I'm going to get I'm going to go in my house. I'm going to get whatever I can fight with. And Lord knows, now I don't have any guns. But for something like you're going to need some guns. Ain't no gun control on that. Get out of here. I don't want to hear nothing about it. Somebody come to my house and they want to take my children. I'm going to have me some guns. Because I have to defend my home. All right. This is not a political podcast per se, but it's political. Why? Because I'm from another government. I'm from a government that says, hey, we ain't going down. Now, here's the thing. You may think you've won. Like the enemy. The enemy is right now running at an all-time high. So here's the message for the day. Remember the question. If someone showed up to your house, wanted everything, your kids, everything, give it up, what would you do? That's why it's time for a change. Right now, your kids have been taken from you. Right? If you have kids, their minds have been stolen. Right now, if you have things are being taken away. Right now, the powers that be, the powers that be are pulling and taking and pretty much setting people up for something that they're not going to want to deal with when it comes. So here's the thing. If it's time for a change, what do we do? So as I was in my moments with my father moments ago, and I'm just telling the Father, hey, I'm ready. Put me all the way in again. Let me go in. Now, you know what's best, but let me go in because I know what you got inside me. See, in 2019, when God showed me, he gave me a preview of what it is he created me for. I didn't know up until that point. But he started giving me the preview. What's inside? And today on the 4th day of April 2023, it's time for people like you and me to stand up. Here's the thing. We have to stand up first for ourselves. You have to stand up for yourself. You have to stand up for you. You can't stand up for anybody until you stand up for yourself. That means we've got to get ourselves ready. Here's a story for you. Here's a story that we all love, like story of little David. Little David, play on your harp, hallelujah, hallelujah. You know who David is, right? David's the young kid who defeated the biggest giant of their day. But what is that really? That's a metaphor now. That's a metaphor for the big giant that you and I have to fight. You've got to be willing to say, you know what? Even if you talking about my government, you talking about my people, no, that ain't gonna work. I'm coming for you. But David, the reason why David could defeat the Goliath of that day was because why? He was out serving just taking care of sheep. But in taking care of sheep, what did he do? He wound up having to fight lions. He had to fight a lion and beat it. He had to fight a bear and beat it. Why? Because think about this. Now, I wouldn't be the one, like if I have not learned how to do that, and the lion comes. Hey, lion, you can have whatever you want, Mr. Lion. Mr. Bear, you can have whatever you want. Like you've seen when bears come into, if you're camping and bears come into the area, everybody just runs. Bear, you can have all the food you like. Yeah, that's right. You can have it all. They just run. But David was like, you ain't getting none of my sheep. That's not happening. I'm gonna take you down, Mr. Bear. And he takes him down. So by the time but here's the thing. What was David connected to? David knew who was preparing him. He knew it. He knew in and of itself that the power that he was getting was from his father, not his earthly father, but his real father. So when he comes into a battle, remember this, David's coming to a battle. He's coming to see now. Obviously, he was sent there by his dad to bring some stuff for his brothers. But he's like, yo, this is gonna be cool. I get to see how they fight. And he get there. Everybody's hiding. Come on now. Everyone's hiding right now. People are hiding. Where are they hiding? They're hiding in their jobs. They're hiding in their homes. They're hiding behind all the stuff that they're keeping their minds on so that they don't have to deal. I'm just saying, I'll say so that we don't have to deal with what's really happening. Your children. Think about the next generation. The generation that's growing right now, who almost doesn't have a chance. They've been told that, there's multiple types of people. There's not just man and woman. There's many types. What? Being told that. Their minds. Their minds are being pillaged with stuff. Yeah. So here it is. David is there. David's at the battle. He's like, yo, why y'all not fighting? And then once he heard Goliath is talking junk. He's talking junk. Okay, that's cool. He's talking junk. But then when he started talking about his father, he says, wait a second. He talking about you what? You back in the day, back in the day when we was growing up, if you over 40, 45, if you over 45, somebody talk bad, it was your mama back then. It wasn't no daddies, but it was your your mama. Oh, we fighting. Dave was like, you talking about my dad? You talking about my father? He says, you know what? I'll fight this dude. I ain't scared of him because I know my father's gonna take this dude out just for talking about him. David realized that he was going into this battle. He didn't come here for the battle, but he's going in because it's time to fight. Time to change, man. He changed from being a regular shepherd to fighting for the cause. Oh, you talking about my father? He went into the battle for his Lord. That's what David did. And he didn't even know that's why he was going. Just like today, you didn't even know that you was coming up against this, and Jay's going to be talking about it's time to get in the game. But here's the thing, before you get in the game, you better be ready. Don't go in the game and you have not got yourself covered with some armor. I ain't talking about the armor that Saul had. Saul had his armor, tried to give it to David. David was like, get up, dude, I can't even, this is not for me. I know what's for me. I got mine. Oh, let me go get me a couple smooth stones. I got my slingshot here. Oh man, this is gonna be a hard kick. I got him today, boy. I got him. David gets out there. Goliath is like, oh, you so little. I ain't even got to fight you back. Let me take my helmet off. Oh, David's like, yes, I got him now. Take my helmet off, underestimating the little guy. Just like, the powers that be are underestimating the people that they can't see. They're just assuming that they'll take everything. But it's people like you and me today that says, you know what? I'm going to equip myself. I'm going to equip myself for what it is that I have to do. Not just what I'm doing, but for what it is that I may have to totally change everything in order to do exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. David had to change everything. He no longer had to herd the sheep. He was now herding people. Why? Because they all started following him. The song was, hey, Saul, the women were singing, Saul slayed his thousands, David slayed his 10,000s. What? Yeah, David slayed his 10,000s. What's it time for? It's time for a change. There's so many things happening, guys. We can't focus on everything. But what we can focus on today is allowing this change. I just want to talk to those of you who have sons and daughters, right? Sons and daughters that are under the age of 25. I'm going to talk to you because they're so susceptible to a lot of the things that's happening. Today as I'm doing this podcast, I found out yesterday that one of my best friends from high school, college, his son committed suicide. He's 21. At school, prominent school, goes to a very good school, university, jumped off a building and killed himself. Why? Mind. Lost his mind. Lost his mind in all of this stuff. The war that we're in, and I'm not saying we're not soldiers. Guys, we are not soldiers in the war. We are instruments in the war. We're not soldiers. We are instruments that are used for what that instrument can do. And we all are an instrument in this, in how God has set this up And if you know of children, kids, you know, even people that's older, because obviously older people are taking their lives as well. How do we combat all of this stuff? First thing is you. You cannot help anybody until you help yourself. So the first thing is change yourself. Change yourself, not on the outside, guys, which you need that, but on the inside. The inside has to change fully. It's got to change to the point where you don't recognize yourself. You're saying, where's this coming from? Well, it's coming because you was renewed. Your mind got renewed, and everything inside you just turned into the fruit that it had been created to create. And because of that, you're just like, wow, look at, is that what God can do? That's what he can do. That's what he can do. But it was always there. It was always there. And because it was always there, then what are we waiting on? What are we waiting on? So today, fourth, I'm going to offer you something. Here's what I'm going to offer you. And I'm going to ask you to do something. And it wasn't until I came on today, Holy Spirit told me to do this. So I'm doing this as a result of what the Holy Spirit asked me to do. I'm going to offer you to purchase this book, Next Level Faith. I want you to purchase this book, and you can purchase this book, and you can purchase two books. It comes with an audio book. It's Next Level Faith, Moving Mountains in Uncertain Times. This book was put together in 2020. It was released in 2021. And I'm going to ask you to purchase this book today. I'm going to ask you to share the book, share it with people. I'm going to ask you to read the book, right? Because the book is a book of stories. It's a book of experiences of people who demonstrated next level faith through different major situations, from death to, God abruptly changing someone's whole life, to the pandemic hitting, right? And death, it was death, like two are on death. Two are on death. So I'm going to ask you to purchase this book. It's $18. Now, I'm going to be honest. This book, I distribute the book from Amazon. But the one thing, here's what Amazon doesn't have. Amazon doesn't have the audiobook. I have the audiobook. And I give the audiobook when you buy it from me. So you can go to Amazon and get it. I'm be honest with you. You can go there and get it, right? Oh, I got Prime. I'm going to send it to you from my Amazon account. And so, but you're not getting the audiobook. So if you like listening, you should get it, and you will get the audiobook first. So when you purchase, it will automatically email you the link so that you can log in to the portal and you can start listening to the book today. So I'm going to ask you to purchase this book today. Listen, this is our ministry, which this is what you get. I'm not asking for donations. I'm just asking you to buy this book. And we use this book in order to get this idea of next level faith. Right now, this is what we need. It's time for a change. And I believe that when people know more, when people understand their knowing, not just belief, when we understand our knowing, our lives will change, guys. So nextlevelfaithglobal.com, you can get the book and the audio book. And you'll be doing a good service, but don't forget, you got to read the book and listen to the book and leave a review on Amazon so that other people around the world can experience an idea. We've got 2 more books coming out this year, guys. We got 2 more books coming, 2 more, maybe even 3, but I know that there's 2 more books coming out. I'm going to announce those dates when they come out because I believe that it's time. It's time for a change. Guys, I love you. You just don't know. God has placed this in my heart, and God has placed, he's given me the idea of me, and he wants to give you your idea of you. So I appreciate you guys. I love you. I'll see you back here on the next episode of the I AFYL Podcast. God bless. Peace.
Thanks for joining us, listening friends. We are so glad you invested this time with us. Always remember, You only have one life to live, so live it to the fullest. This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time,